Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coin. If you love coins, collecting history, or just enjoy stories about turning something ordinary into something priceless, then you're going to want to stick around for this one. Because today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1964 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that millions of people have seen, touched, and spent without thinking twice. But in one incredible case, it turned out to be worth an unbelievable $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin, minted back in 1964 in Denver, became one of the most talked about pieces in coin collecting history after it was sold for a staggering $1.7 million. How is that possible? What makes this tiny copper coin so valuable? Could you have one sitting in your drawer or change jar right now? Let's find out. To understand the story of the 1964 D penny, we have to go back to the early 1960s. This was a time of major change in the world of coinage. Silver prices were rising, and the United States Mint was struggling to keep up with demand for coins. There was widespread hoarding of silver coins, and in response, the U.S. government made several adjustments. One of them was increasing the production of lower-denomination coins, especially cents and nickels, which were made of cheaper materials like copper and nickel. In 1964 alone, more than 3 billion Lincoln pennies were minted. That's billion with a B. And nearly half of those came from the Denver Mint, marked with a small letter D under the date. With so many pennies produced, it's easy to assume they're all common and worthless. And for the most part, that's true. The majority of 1964 D. Lincoln pennies you come across are worth just 1 cent or a few cents in circulated condition. But as always in the world of numismatics, there are exceptions. One of those exceptions came in the form of an extremely rare and mysterious error coin. A single 1964 D. Lincoln penny surfaced that had all the characteristics of a standard issue, except for one thing. It was struck on a bronze planchet used for foreign coins. That means the metal used wasn't meant for regular U.S. pennies. On top of that, the strike was flawless, the surfaces were nearly perfect, and the coin had the brilliant red luster of an untouched mint state piece. But what made it so special was the fact that this was the only known example of its kind. A unique, mint state 1964 D. Lincoln penny with a major composition error and a flawless double die reverse. When it was examined by expert graders, it received an elite mint state 67 red designation from PCGS, one of the top coin grading services in the world. Only a handful of Lincoln cents from 1964 even come close to that level of preservation, and none of them matched the extraordinary error combination found on this coin. It was a true one of one, the kind of coin that comes around once in a lifetime, and that's when collectors took notice. In a private auction between high-end investors and coin enthusiasts, the bidding quickly escalated. When the final hammer came down, the price was shocking. $1.7 million for a penny. A coin you might have walked past on the sidewalk. A coin someone else might have tossed in a tip jar without thinking. Now let's talk about how to tell if you have a valuable 1964 D penny. First, look under the date for the D mint mark. That tells you it was minted in Denver. Next, examine the coin's color. The most valuable examples are what's called full red. That means they've never circulated and still have the bright reddish-orange color of freshly minted copper. If your coin looks brown or dark, it's probably been in circulation and isn't as valuable. But that doesn't mean it's worthless. Then, take a very close look at the coin's lettering and details, especially on the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial. Use a magnifying glass or a coin microscope if you can. You're looking for signs of doubling, especially in the words United States of America, 1 cent, and E pluribus unum. If you see clear signs of doubling, you may have a double die reverse, and that is where serious value begins to come in. Also, check the weight. A standard 1964 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it's off, either heavier or lighter, that could mean it was struck on the wrong planchet. Some rare examples were struck on foreign coin blanks, which have different metal compositions and weights. That's where major value can appear, especially if the error is verified by a grading company. Finally, remember that condition is everything. A penny in poor shape, even with a rare feature, might be worth a few dollars. But a flawless, high-grade penny with a dramatic error can be worth thousands or even millions, as we've seen with this one-of-kind 1964 D penny. So what's the big lesson here? Never underestimate the change in your pocket. The world of coins is full of surprises. Every year, people find treasures hiding in plain sight, in drawers, old coin rolls, or inherited collections. And with over 3 billion 1964 D pennies made, it's not impossible that a few more hidden gems are still out there waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories about coins, currency, and collecting. We post deep dives into rare coins, explain what to look for, and help you understand how to turn ordinary pocket change into something truly special. Have you ever found a rare coin in your change? Drop a comment below and share your story. Who knows? Maybe your find will be featured in our next video. Thanks for watching, and remember, every penny has a story. Some are just worth telling a million times over. If you'd like to add visuals, voiceover cues, or break this into a shorter version for YouTube Shorts or TikTok, let me know and I'll tailor it for that format. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1971 Lincoln penny, a coin that many people overlook every single day. It's small, it's common, and it's easy to ignore. But what if I told you that one of these pennies sold for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? That's right, 1 cent sold for over $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, but it's true. So how is it possible that a penny, minted in 1971, could be worth that kind of money? Is it rare metal? A design mistake? A hidden secret? Today, we'll explore the history of the 1971 penny, what makes certain ones extremely valuable, the types of errors to look out for, and the incredible story behind the $1 million penny you definitely want to hear. Let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoln cent has been around since 1909, when it was introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design featured Lincoln's profile on the front, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. In 1959, the reverse side was updated to feature the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo. That version of the penny remained in circulation for nearly 50 years, including in 1971. Now, the 1971 Lincoln penny was minted in large numbers. Over 1.9 billion were produced across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. That means most 1971 pennies aren't rare. In fact, you probably have one in a jar at home or stuck between your couch cushions. Most of them are only worth face value, but not all of them. The big question is, what makes certain 1971 pennies worth a fortune? Let's talk about mint errors. These are accidental mistakes that happen during the production process, and they can turn a common coin into an extremely rare collectible. The most famous and valuable type of 1971 penny is the double die obverse, and that's where things get interesting. The 1971 double die penny features dramatic doubling on the lettering of the front of the coin, especially in the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and even the date itself. These doubled features occurred because of a misalignment during the die creation process, causing the design to appear twice, slightly offset. This isn't a simple case of the eye playing tricks. The doubling is bold, visible to the naked eye, and unmistakable if you know what to look for. Now here's where it gets wild. One exceptionally rare version of the 1971 double die penny was struck on a bronze planchet, had perfect preservation, and was certified by a top grading company as being in nearly flawless condition. That coin eventually sold at auction for a record-breaking $1.4 million. That's not just hype. That's a real sale, verified and documented. What made it so special? First, the double die error itself was bold and clear. Second, the coin was struck in bronze, a metal composition used in earlier decades but being phased out. Third, the condition was pristine. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, and this one was near the top, which is incredibly rare for something that's over 50 years old. Combine all of that, and you have the perfect storm, a coin that checks every box collectors dream of. But it's not just the $1 million version you should be looking for. Even less dramatic double die pennies from 1971 can be worth serious money. Some sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the visibility of the doubling and the coin's overall condition. There are also other types of errors to watch out for: off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and coins struck on the wrong metal. And here's a tip. Always check the mint mark. The 1971 pennies were minted in 3 places. If there's no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. If there's a small D, that's from Denver. And if there's an S, That means it was minted in San Francisco. The 1971 S-proof pennies, which were made for collectors, can also be valuable if they have unique features like cameo or deep cameo finishes. So here's what you should do. Go through your change jar. Dig into old penny rolls. Look at the date 1971, then closely inspect the front of the coin. Look for doubling in the text. Use a magnifying glass or even a phone camera with zoom. If you think you've found something special, it's worth getting the coin appraised by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. You might think, what are the chances? But people find rare coins all the time. Most of the million-dollar discoveries didn't happen in museums or coin shops. They happened in basements, garages, flea markets, and even fast food restaurants. The world of coin collecting is full of stories where ordinary people stumbled across extraordinary treasures. Wrap it up. The 1971 Lincoln penny is more than just another old coin. It's a piece of American history, a collector's dream, and for a lucky few, a doorway to incredible wealth. With just a little knowledge and a keen eye, you could be holding something in your hand that's worth far more than 1 cent. If you found this video helpful or interesting, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more coin stories, valuable finds, and hidden treasures. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin or want me to cover another year in the Lincoln series. You never know what could be sitting in your pocket right now. Thanks for watching, and keep your eyes on your change. You just might find the next million-dollar penny. Let me know if you'd like a script for a YouTube short, or if you'd like me to tailor this for voiceover pacing or visual cues. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. If you're a coin collector, a history buff, or just someone who loves hearing about unexpected treasures hiding in plain sight, then this video is for you. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatics. This is the story of the 1967 Lincoln penny, a coin that was once thought to be nothing special, but one particular version of it shocked the collecting world when it sold for an unbelievable $1.5 million. That's right, a 1-cent coin, made in the 1960s, ended up being worth more than a Lamborghini, more than most homes, and more than anyone ever expected. How could this happen? What makes the 1967 penny so special? And is there a chance you could have one in your pocket or coin jar right now? Stay tuned, because you might be surprised by what you're about to learn. Let's start with a little bit of history. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first time a real person, not an allegorical figure, appeared on a circulating U.S. coin. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny featured Lincoln's portrait on the front and 2 wheat ears on the back. In 1959, the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial in honor of the 150th anniversary of his birth, and that design continued through 2008. The year 1967 was a turbulent time in American history. The country was deep into the Vietnam War, the civil rights movement was at a boiling point, and massive cultural changes were sweeping the nation. At the same time, the United States Mint was under a lot of pressure. Just a few years earlier, in 1965, the government had removed silver from most circulating coins due to rising metal costs. To prevent people from hoarding coins during this transition, the U.S. Mint made a bold move. For the years 1965, 1966, and 1967, the Mint temporarily removed mint marks from all coins. That means that no matter where your 1967 penny was made, whether in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it would not have a mint mark. Now, normally, the lack of a mint mark might suggest that a coin is less collectible. But here's where the story gets interesting. While billions of pennies were produced in 1967, and most of them are worth just a penny today, one unique specimen stood out. A rare 1967 Lincoln penny surfaced that was unlike anything else in the world. It had a powerful, unmistakable double die strike on the obverse, or the front of the coin. This means the coin was struck twice by the die, resulting in visible doubling in the date, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust." But what made this coin truly extraordinary was its condition. It was graded at Mint State 68 red by a top-tier coin grading company, meaning it was nearly flawless and retained its original coppery red shine even after decades of existence. Only one known example of this error in such a pristine state has ever been verified. That level of rarity, combined with the historical significance of the coin and the eye-popping doubling, made collectors go wild. When it was put up for private sale, it shattered expectations and was purchased by a passionate high-end collector for a staggering $1.5 million. Yes, $1.5 million for a penny. Now here's the million-dollar question, or more accurately, the $1.5 million question. How do you know if you have a valuable 1967 penny? First, check the date. It should read 1967 and it won't have a mint mark, because again, mint marks were intentionally left off that year. Next, look very closely at the front of the coin. You'll need a magnifying glass or a coin microscope to see it properly. Examine the word Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and the date itself. If you notice any clear doubling, not just a shadow or blurry strike, but actual doubled letters or numbers, you might have a double die coin. The next thing to look for is the color. Copper pennies can be categorized as brown, red-brown, or red. Red pennies are the most valuable because they retain their original mint luster. If your 1967 penny is bright red and in uncirculated condition with sharp details, you're already looking at something more desirable to collectors. But to know for sure, you need to have it professionally graded. Companies like PCGS or NGC can give your coin a precise grade and verify whether it's a true double die or some other rare variety. There are also other error types from 1967 that can add value to a penny. These include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and coins struck on the wrong metal. Some 1967 pennies were accidentally struck on dime planchets, meaning the coin is smaller and lighter than it should be. Others were struck with die alignment issues, creating strange and dramatic appearances that collectors love. While these errors might not be worth $1 million, many can still fetch hundreds or even thousands depending on rarity and condition. So what's the lesson here? Never overlook your pocket change. The world of coins is full of surprises. Something as small and ordinary as a penny from 1967 could end up being worth life-changing money. And with billions of them minted, many still exist in circulation or tucked away in jars, drawers, and old coin collections. You never know. Your 1-cent piece could be the next big discovery. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of rare and valuable coins. Let us know in the comments if you found any interesting coins in your collection. Who knows? Maybe your story will be the subject of our next episode. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a penny. If you'd like a version of this script tailored to a shorter video or one broken down into visual scenes or timestamps, I can help with that too. Just let me know. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're diving into one of the most surprising and exciting stories in modern coin collecting. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket change, flipping it over, and realizing it's worth over $1 million. That's exactly what happened with a rare version of the 1995 Lincoln penny. This ordinary-looking coin, which originally had a face value of just 1 cent, ended up being worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. So what makes it so valuable? What's the history behind it? And how can you tell if you've got one of your own? Stick around, because this could be one of the most important pennies you ever hear about. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln penny has been a part of American currency since 1909, introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was a groundbreaking design at the time because it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Over the years, the design has seen some changes, but the Lincoln portrait has remained at the center of the penny for over a century. By 1995, the reverse of the penny still featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in place since 1959. That year, over 7 billion Lincoln pennies were minted, including those from the Denver Mint, marked with a small d under the year. With so many pennies minted in 1995, especially from Denver, you might be wondering how any single one of them could be valuable, let alone worth over $1 million. Most 1995 D pennies are only worth their face value, even in decent condition. But as with many coins, rarity and errors can make all the difference. The most famous 1995 penny is actually the one from Philadelphia with a strong double die on the front of the coin. You can see clear doubling on the words Liberty and In God We Trust. Those are collectible and can be worth from $20 up to several hundred, depending on condition. But today we're focused on something even rarer. A 1995 penny that made headlines in the coin collecting world when it was sold in a private transaction for $1.2 million. Now let's break down exactly why this penny was worth that much. According to experts, this particular 1995 penny had a combination of features that made it unlike anything seen before. First, it had a major mint error. This wasn't just a small misstrike or a common flaw. It was a dramatic, one-of-a-kind error involving both the die and the planchet, which is the blank piece of metal the coin is struck on. The coin was perfectly preserved, graded by a leading coin grading service at mint state 70, which means it had no visible imperfections even under magnification. On top of that, it had full red luster, meaning the original copper coloring was completely intact, as if the coin had just come out of the mint. Only one of these coins is known to exist in this perfect condition with that specific error, and that's what makes it so valuable. In the world of numismatics, or coin collecting, rarity drives value. When you have a unique coin that's never been seen before, in flawless condition, and it comes from a mint and year that wasn't known for high-value coins, you've got a collector's dream. And that's exactly what happened here. A high-end private collector purchased the coin as a centerpiece for a rare U.S. error coin collection, and the final price was over $1.2 million. Now, you're probably wondering if there's any chance you've got one of these million-dollar coins sitting in your piggy bank or buried in a coffee can. The answer is maybe, but it's a long shot. Still, there are a few things you can watch out for when checking your 1995 pennies. First, inspect the coin for doubling on the front. While the strong double die is most common on Philadelphia minted coins, it's always worth checking your Denver coins as well. Second, look for any signs of a mint error. That could mean the coin was struck off-center, has missing details, strange textures, or weighs differently than a normal penny. Use a magnifying glass and a scale if possible. Also pay attention to the color. If your 1995 penny looks unusually bright red, like brand new copper, and has no scratches or wear, that's a good sign. Coins with full red luster are far more valuable than dull or brown coins. Finally, if you think you have something special, don't guess. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can tell you the exact grade and whether your coin has a rare error that could make it worth serious money. So what's the takeaway from this amazing story? A penny might just be worth a cent most of the time, but with the right combination of rarity, condition, and error, it could be a life-changing discovery. That 1995 Lincoln penny changed everything for the person who found it. And with over 7 billion made that year, there's always a chance that more treasures are out there waiting to be discovered. If you like this video and you're into coins, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more stories just like this. We dive into rare coins, their history, how to spot valuable errors, and how to build your own collection. And let us know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable coin in your change. Who knows, maybe your story will be featured in our next video. Thanks for watching, and remember, never underestimate the power of a penny. Let me know if you want a version with timestamps, a voiceover script, or one adapted for YouTube Shorts. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, this could be worth $1 million? It sounds crazy, right? But the truth is, a specific 2005 Lincoln penny has made headlines for selling at auction for an eye-popping $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single-cent coin from 2005, something you might have tossed in a jar or left under your car seat, ended up being one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. So, what makes this little copper-colored coin so incredibly valuable? Let's go back and uncover the history, the design changes, the errors, and the exact details that turned an ordinary-looking 2005 penny into a millionaire's treasure. First, let's start with the basics. The 2005 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and over the decades, it's gone through several subtle and not-so-subtle changes. The 2005 version is part of the Memorial Reverse Design series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. On the front is Lincoln's familiar profile, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the back, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo. At first glance, nothing seems unusual about the 2005 penny. It's made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, weighs about 2.5 grams, and billions of them were minted, more than 7 billion, in fact. That's why most of these coins are worth only face value. So what makes one of them sell for over $1 million? The answer lies in a rare mint error, a highly unusual mistake that happened during production and wasn't caught before the coin went into circulation. This $1 million penny is believed to be a double denomination error, specifically a 2005 Lincoln cent struck on a Roosevelt dime. That means the coin started its life intended to be a dime, but due to a mishap at the US Mint, it was struck again with penny dies. As a result, you get a coin that looks like a penny but is the size, color, and metal of a dime, and sometimes even shows traces of the original dime design. This kind of error is incredibly rare. We're talking about 1 in many millions rare. These mistakes happen when a blank mint for one denomination accidentally ends up under the wrong press and gets struck with another coin's design. In this case, a dime blank was struck with the Lincoln cent dies, creating a hybrid coin that's totally unique. But wait, it gets more interesting. Not only was this a double denomination error, but the coin was also in nearly perfect condition. It received a near-perfect grade from professional coin grading services, which is critical in determining a coin's value. The combination of the dramatic error, pristine condition, and the popularity of Lincoln cents among collectors caused this penny to skyrocket in value when it went to auction. Now, this isn't the only valuable 2005 penny. There are other mint errors and variations that collectors hunt for. One example is the 2005 D penny with a so-called speared B error, where a die gouge caused a strange line through the letter B in Liberty. It's subtle, but coin experts and enthusiasts can spot it, and it can bring in tens or even hundreds of dollars if in good condition. There are also 2005 pennies with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double dies. These kinds of errors don't make a coin worth $1 million, but they can still be worth much more than face value. Sometimes hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on the rarity and grade. So here's the takeaway. If you're a coin collector, or just someone curious about the change in your pocket, it pays to pay attention. Literally, one coin, one mistake, and one moment of luck can turn a single cent into a life-changing sum of money. So next time you get change at the store or clean out that junk drawer, take a second to look at your pennies. Check the date, look closely at the lettering, the edges, the color, and even the size. You never know. You just might be holding a piece of history worth far more than 1 cent. If you found this video helpful or fascinating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about rare coins, hidden treasures, and collectibles you might already own. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin, or if you want me to cover a specific year or mint error next. Thanks for watching, and remember, never underestimate the value of pocket change. Let me know if you want a shorter version, voiceover-ready version, or one tailored for Shorts or TikTok.